Iowa women's basketball fans going from hopefully optimistic to eagerly anticipating November, not because of the weather, but because of Iowa women's basketball being back. We'll talk about the addition of Spain native Alvaro Folgueiras in just one moment. Huge get from the Robert Morris Colonials via the transfer portal. But first, a big thank you to Iowa Floor Covering. They're our sponsor for today's segment. Be sure you check out IFC either in person down in Bondurant or online, iowafloorcovering.com. If you have questions about what they can offer you, maybe it's a DIY flooring project or a remodel that you have on your hands, you can give them a call. 515-379-7000. That's 515-379-7000. Iowa Floor Covering in Bondurant. So Ben McCollum and the Hawkeyes landing Robert Morris transfer forward Alvaro Folgueiras, a young man who hails from Spain. He's listed at about 6'9", 215 pounds. He has played 2 years at Robert Morris, and here are some impressive accolades. He was the Horizon League Player of the Year this year. This is a Robert Morris team that went to the NCAA tournament as a 15 seed. They did not play a difficult schedule. In fact, they only played one game in the non-conference against a Power 4 team, and that was against West Virginia. Folgueiras did not play great in that game, but he played very well against Alabama in March. We'll talk about that in just a second. He was all-league first team, no surprise there since he was player of the year. Started all 35 games as a sophomore. I want to read you some of his bio on the Robert Morris website in case you haven't already looked this up. So a couple of the accolades I already ran through. He was also named the Urban Bennett Invitational MTE All-Tournament team for his efforts back in the non-conference. He was 3-time Horizon League Player of the Week, scored 14 double-doubles this past season, 4 20-plus games, a career high of 35 points against Northern Kentucky, also had 19 rebounds against Northern Kentucky, had 7 assists in a game against Oakland, and in a game against Youngstown State earlier in the season, and had 15 and 10. Yes, against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, that team led by Nate Oates made a nice run in the NCAA tournament. Folgueiras really improved from year one to year two. You look at his stats this past year, averaged 14 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 41.3% from three, 78% from the free throw line, and 55% overall from the field. Take a look at some of these improvements. So he played 29 minutes per game. That's part of the improvement, of course. He's playing more, whereas he played 18 minutes per game as a true freshman. Still pretty impressive. Started 6 games as a true freshman and played in all 32. He averaged 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist per game. But what's really interesting, go down and look at the per 40 numbers. I'll throw them up on the screen here. How about these numbers? Per 40 minutes played from year one to year two. Not only was he playing more minutes, Folgueiras went from 11.8 points per 40 minutes in year one to 19 points per 40 in year two. Slightly improved in blocks, went from 0.9 steals per 40 to 1.9 steals per 40. How about assists? 2.7 to 4.3 in year two. Rebounding, 10.1 to 12.4. You get the point. Also improved at the free throw line, went from 74% to 78.5%. Was better overall from the field, was a much better three-point shooter. Oh, and by the way, still took a lot of threes. In fact, he took more threes his second year than he did in his first. You'll see the per 40 numbers are down slightly as it relates to attempts, but he was much better as it relates to makes, 41% from three. His second year at Robert Morris, I think I mentioned this earlier, improved to 55% overall from the field compared to 46% in year one. He's got good length. Of course, he's not a great athlete. You watch him on tape, but he can score at every level, not just from the three-point arc. He's good off the dribble drive. I think he's going to be a real weapon in Iowa's pick-and-roll offense with Bennett Sturtz. I did see him struggle a little bit. I watched the condensed version of Robert Morris in Alabama. And by the way, the Colonials pushed the Crimson Tide more than just about anyone else in the tournament, at least until that last weekend for Alabama. And I did think he struggled a bit early. That's a tough matchup. I mean, you talk about a front court for Alabama, Nate Oates building that front court from the transfer portal, former Rutgers Scarlet Knight, Cliff Amorie, and then, of course, Grant Nelson, the North Dakota State transfer. So that was a difficult matchup, and I did think Folgueiras struggled at times in that game. But again, the numbers speak for themselves. Had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists in 33 minutes played. So he was still very good. He's not a great athlete, but I do think McCollum's going to put him in the right place defensively. I think you're going to see him play a lot more 4 at Iowa than he would the 5, barring some later misses. I mean, I still think Iowa's got work to do. They've got to figure out who's going to be the starting 5. I don't know who that is at this point. Cam Manyow is certainly an option there. And then Tavian Banks has played a lot, but he's really undersized to play the 5, and they really don't have any other options besides Folgueiras. So they got some work to do there. He's got a very good three-point shot, as I mentioned. Not a real high-arcing three-point shot, but a good release, quick release, and it's a high release. With his size, he'll have no problems getting that shot off. And he seems to be able to score from anywhere behind the three-point arc. Very good passer. I think that's the biggest thing. You talk about European basketball. He represented Spain in the 2024 FIBA Under-20 Euro basketball held in Poland, averaged 5 points, 6 rebounds for the Under-17 World Cup team, led Spain to a silver medal in that Under-17 team. Also led Spain to a silver medal in 2023. It's part of the Under-18 National Championship. Shot 56% from the floor in 2022. He's nicknamed the Octopus, those long arms, the length, the craftiness, and some of that is just natural to European players. So it does intrigue me. I am someone who grew up watching the likes of Dirk Nowitzki, Manu Ginobili. I know Manu is from Argentina, but foreign players oftentimes are craftier, maybe a little bit more disciplined as it relates to fundamentals, etc. And Alvaro does have some of that, I think, specifically with his vision and his passing ability as a post. I think that's the biggest thing that stands out. He prefers to finish with the right hand. There are times where you see him on tape finishing with the left. He certainly prefers to go right, but he can post. He's comfortable passing out of the post, which is really the best place to pass, especially as a big man. As I mentioned, he's going to be good in the pick and roll on offense, especially working with Bennett Sturtz. He has the ability to score off the catch, score off the dribble, and he's just going to be a really good addition. His brother is also a European basketball player, a pro player over in Europe. I think he's played last in Ireland. He's played some pro ball in Spain. His brother's nickname is Nacho. Nacho. So interesting. You got Octopus and you got Nacho. Now, Alvaro played at DME Academy. If that sounds familiar, that's where Keegan and Chris Murray played when they reclassified before going to Iowa. So there's a connection there. And Alvaro he played 1 year at DME. My understanding, 1 year at DME was not incredibly impactful for them and certainly flew under the radar. And I went through the rest of that roster from the 22-23 DME Academy team. There wasn't a ton of high major talent. I mean, there are some players that I'd say maybe 4 to 5, a handful of players from that roster that are now at the D1 level, but no one's made the impact that Folgueiras has. The closest would be center Mustafa Thiem, who was at Central Florida this year and did average double figures. He has transferred to Memphis here recently. But other than Thiem and Folgueiras, it wasn't a real talented roster from the perspective of guys going Power 4, Power 5, and producing early in their careers. Folgueiras comes in at Robert Morris and produces in year 1, really produces in year 2, and to be named Horizon League Player of the Year in year 2 is incredibly impressive. So this is just a huge get, and right up there with the Bennett Sturtz get, because now you have a guy in the post that is certainly from day one a starter. You have Bennett Sturtz, who is from day one a starter. And I don't know that anybody else is guaranteed a role at this point. I mean, nobody's guaranteed a role, right? But those two guys are cemented starters. I still think they need to target some athleticism. I don't know who's playing the 5. They've got to get some backcourt. I mean, Brennanhausen, I know people are going to say, why didn't you name Brennanhausen? Yeah, he's probably going to start. Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, certainly Alvaro and Bennett Sturtz are the top 2 there. And then probably Hausen, Cooper Koch could end up starting. I mean, I've heard good things about where his development was late in the season, nursing that injury, coming off injury, didn't play again for Fran's team. But certainly some question marks. And then you got all the young talent from Drake. This is looking like a good team now. I mean, it's starting to shape up like a good team. And Ben McCollum's not done in the portal. How much NIL money does he have still to work with? Who knows? But there are still roster spots available. And I'm sure he'll get somebody else, and he'll try to get somebody else to campus. The Toulson kid from Utah Valley committed to TCU, so he's out of the picture. The Duke Brennan kid from Grand Canyon, he is out of the picture. I believe his visit got canceled. So we'll see. We'll see who Ben McCollum targets next, but a big win getting Folgueiras on campus. There were rumors that he was going, I think Pete Nakos on 3 at one point predicted Folgueiras to end up at Kentucky. the Hawkeyes get them. And that's quite a tandem. Sturts, Folgueiras, and then a 3-point marksman in Hausen. Folks, we'll continue to talk about this team. Getting excited here, and it's just mid to late April. So keep it locked right here. We'll continue to talk hoops, men's and women's hoops. Hit that like button, and we will talk to you soon.